What's up, everyone? What's happening? Welcome back to another video. Just walked in the door from work, getting ready to wash up, change, and go for my evening run. Okay, I just want to let you know what's going on here in New York City with the NYPD. There's new restrictions being added, misdemeanor charges for cops. They'll be arrested and even do up to a year in jail for using certain techniques. Now, we already knew about the chokehold, but now it went one step further. They're not allowed to place their knees on your body or neck or head or anything like that. This was a classic technique that they would use if they wrestled you to the ground. They get on top of you, they get into a mount position. They would lean on you with their knees on top of you to keep the pressure, keep you down to the ground while they reach for their handcuffs or reach for their radio or their taser or whatever the case may be. They're not allowed to do that now that this is a tool that's a technique that they would use that's now going to be banned. Just more restrictions added on to the NYPD so they can't perform their duty. This is an outright attack of police. Let's be real. That's exactly what this is. We already, here in New York City, have $1 billion slashed off of their budget. The anti-crime unit was dismantled. The quality of life crimes are no longer being enforced. They opened the doors to Rikers Island and allowed all the inmates out because of coronavirus. And there's this catch and release policy where there's no bail, no bail release. On the inmates, people who are arrested, that they're also given like $50 gift certificates now and Uber rides home and Mets tickets and all this craziness. In some cases, some of the inmates who left Rikers Island even got these cheap little cell phones, these Obama phones. This is total insanity that our mayor, our communist mayor, a worthless mayor de Blasio, and the city council, who are completely worthless, to be honest with you, will even push these types of policies onto the police. They're blaming the police for everything that happens. Now we had this uptick in crime going on. Saturday night, there was like 41 shootings. Elderly people have been attacked left and right. There was a toddler just a couple of days ago, had his face slashed. June was one of the most deadly, crime-ridden months of the year. I mean, the amount of crime is completely insane in New York City now. It's on our way back to the 1980s. I was alive and here during the 80s, so I recall how terrible it was. And we're on the path to go right back to the 80s. Our mayor decided to blame coronavirus for the uptick in crime. At this point, he needs to be removed from office once he blamed the coronavirus. I think enough is enough, and he should be physically forced to be removed from office. He should be arrested. I mean, you know, it's funny how we blame the cops for everything under the sun, right? I could be viciously beating my wife. The cops come, someone calls the cops arrive, and I pull out a knife and they end up shooting me. And it'll be the cop's fault for that, not mine. Ignore the criminal and his behavior. It's all about the cop. Let's blame the cop for everything that goes wrong. The funny part is we don't do that with the politicians, right? A cop can do something bad and it stains the entire police department. We have one corrupted politician after the next, but we don't want these restrictions on the politicians. If you ever want a career where you don't have to be held accountable for anything, become a politician. You'll never be held accountable. And even if someone, one of your colleagues is arrested on some scandal, it's okay. There'll be no policy, no restrictions on the rest of you guys. You can continue to do your shitty business as usual. You'll never be held accountable. Only the cops are held accountable. So what these politicians are doing now, these city officials, basically, they're just appeasing the mob. They're allowing the inmates to take over the asylum for a few different reasons. One reason is the mob is their voters, right? They want to continue to get these votes. They'll side with the mob and make policies that are in favor with the mob, the people who are voting for them. The second reason is because I believe they share the same ideology with this mob, with the LGBTQ R2D2C3O community, with Antifa, and with Black Lives Matter. They're all a Marxist organization and communist organization, by the way, and so is the Democrats. They have the same ideology. Therefore, they're going to push for policies that they want to see implemented. And plus, they're voting for these people, so they're going to push for those plans, those ideas. This is a dangerous situation. The mayor blaming coronavirus, for the uptick in crime, which is completely insanity for him to even say something like that. The police commissioner said it's because you're tying the hands of the police officers behind their back. They can't do their job. They don't want to do their job. They're afraid to do their job. And with all the restrictions and budget cuts and removing the anti-crime unit and everything that's going on, you're not allowing the cops to do their job. And that's why you're having this uptick in crime, plain and simple. This is a very dangerous situation that we're living under, and I honestly don't see a solution to this other than just packing up and moving out, which I plan to do. Maybe another year I'll be out of this shithole city. Once I'm gone, the city can burn. I really don't give a shit. I'm trying to convince my friends and family to leave with me. those who stay behind here, you just have to deal with your choice. You're here. And let's face it, majority of the residents here voted for these shitty politicians, so they should, why not suffer for the way they voted, right? You voted for this, so you must like it. You must enjoy it. Don't say you want to defund or dismantle the police, and when you're the victim of crime, you're the first one to pick up the phone and call the cops. You should be restricted from doing so. We should know who you voted for, and know if you also want to defund the police. So this way, or dismantle the police. This way, the cops could refuse to provide you services when you need them, just for the fact that you don't want them. It's funny how that works, right? You get like the limousine liberals sitting back on, in a very expensive home or an apartment or something, telling you how everything should be. Of course, the mob is not showing up at your house. Right? You're not the one who's a victim of crime. You're not the one who has to deal with this. You probably have private security around your neighborhood, right? Private, you live in a gated community. What the hell do you care, Mr. Celebrity? Like, there's no crime in your neighborhood. You're not the one getting shot while walking. You're walking with your 6-year-old daughter, like happened to a man in the Bronx. I read it in the paper today. He was shot and killed in broad daylight while he was walking with a 6-year-old daughter. That don't happen to the celebrities. So they're always filled with these big ideas on how life should be. And a lot of these well-to-do liberals, the limousine liberals, filled with all these ideas. They know how society should run. They're never the victim of society. So what the hell do they know? They're not the ones living here. Their elderly grandmother wasn't the one, sucker punched in the middle of Fifth Avenue in broad daylight by some psychopath. They don't have homeless people all over the place, and a shitty transit system that's like smells like piss and there's rats and homeless people everywhere, and they don't have to deal with that. We do. So they always know what's best when they're not the ones who are dealing with it. We are. My advice: pack up, and if you live in a Democratic area, city, county, my advice is pack up and leave as soon as you possibly can. If you're lucky enough to not be tied down to that location, get out while you still can before it gets a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. It has been getting worse. We're watching the climb happen. The next wave of politicians coming, the next mayor election is it's like 18 months from now. Those new candidates are going to be even worse because they're going to be even more progressive, and they're going to try to out-woke each other and prove that they're more woke than the next. They're going to, they by now they should be outright calling each other comrade, which Mayor de Blasio has no problem doing. There's been quite a few times he's been recorded as calling people comrade. He even tweeted when he was on his useless bid for president that resulted in like a 0% at the polls, by the way. He tweeted out good luck to his comrade. He used the word comrades too. Good luck, comrades, tonight at the debates. Showing you the type of person he is. It is pretty clear of what we are dealing with. If you don't see it, I don't even know what to say anymore. You need to open your eyes and start looking. Maybe get some glasses. Take it from me, glasses work. They help you see better. All right, that's all I have. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.